Hi everyone, it's Anya here and I'm back with another video for Ophelia Talks. And today we are at week 2 of our Egypt journey. We are traveling along the jewels of the Nile. This week we are in Luxor and here we visited the Valley of the Kings, the Valley of the Queens. We also visited Luxor Temple, we visited Karnak Temple, and we visited Hatshepsut's temple. So to get started for week 2, you will have finished row 30 in sea green. Sea green is a shell row, just like I have here finished with my shell row. 31 will be a blush row, and the row that you have to do for 31 is Luxor X. So let's get started with that one. As you know by now, Luxor X is just a row that we do specially. It's the same as row 1 essentially, but it is just because of course we need to adhere to a different row underneath than what we would be doing while we were doing our repeat during the week. So this week we have a 4-row repeat. Use your usual hook for DK. Before we get started, let's get going on row X. So here, I finished my stitch. I should not have done that. So I'm just going to go back one step and I'm going to bring in my blush and pull it through. Then I'm going to chain 1, you turn, and you are going to do 1 double crochet in the first 2 stitches. So the first one, and then this chain here is the second stitch. So we place our first double crochet into that stitch there, and then the second double crochet around the chain space. There we go. Then you chain 1 and you skip 2 stitches, 1, 2. Then you are going to do 1 double crochet, 3 chains and 1 double crochet in the next stitch, so this third stitch there, 1 double crochet, 3 chains and 1 double crochet. Then we are going to chain 1, skip 2, 1, 2, and then we are going to place 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitches, so 1, 2 and 3. So we place our double crochets consecutively behind one another in the 3 following stitches. There we go. So now we're going to do this little repeat once more. So chain 1, skip 2, 1, 2, into the third stitch we are going to place a V, but of course this V has 1, 2, 3 chains and the second double crochet needed in the same stitch as well for that V. Then we do chain 1, we skip 2, and we are going to do those 3 double crochets in a row, one behind the other in the 3 next stitches. There we go. Okay, and now we have repeated this 2 times. Now we go on to the rest of our pattern, and it says chain 1, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, then working in the 4th stitch, which is the last stitch of the shell, you're going to place your V stitch. So a double crochet, 1, 2, 3, and a double crochet. Then you're going to chain 1, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and here in those next 3 stitches you are going to place 3 double crochets in a row. There we go. So now we keep on repeating this repeat. Chain 1, skip 3, V stitch in the next stitch, with, of course, the 3 chains. Chain 1, skip 3, 1 double crochet in the next 3 stitches. Chain 1, skip 3, V in the next stitch. Chain 1, skip 3, 3 double crochets behind one another. So you keep on going until you have 18 V stitches. So count your V's and you have to have 18 of them. Here for my sampler blanket, I need to have done 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 V's, and then I'm going to start repeating the end of my pattern description there. So then you chain 1, you skip 2, in the 3rd stitch you are going to place your V, so 1 double crochet, 3 chains and 1 double crochet. Then again you chain 1, skip 2, 1, 2, and you do 3 double crochets in a row. Once again, chain 1, skip 2, 1, 2, and here you do your V. Then you chain 1, you skip 3, and then you will notice you have the chain 1 and the stitch here left over. So you have 2 stitches left over, and that's of course the locations for those 2 double crochets that we did at the beginning as well. So 1 around the chain and 1 into the double crochet. And of course we are changing color. So you now have 20 V's on your row and I have 7. So we cut off the blush. So row 32 is done in buttermilk. You're going to do Luxor 2. So pull through your color. And Luxor 2 starts with a chain 1, you turn and you do a double crochet in the 1st stitch. So there you go. Then we are going to chain 1 and into this chain space here we are going to place 7 double crochets. So start doing your 7 double crochets. So 6 and 7. Then you do a chain 1 and now you go over to these 3 double crochets here, and we are going to place 1 double crochet on top of the middle of these 3 double crochets. There we go. Then you chain 1 and you are going to start repeating what we have already done. 7 double crochets into the chain space. And 7. Yeah. Chain 1 and 1 double crochet on top of that middle double crochet there. Once again, we repeat, chain 1, 7 double crochets. and this is how you are going to do the whole of the row. 6 and 7. So you keep on repeating, doing your shell of 7 double crochets, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, 7, and so on until you reach the end of the row. So I have made it to the end of my row. I just need to do 1 chain, then here another lot of 7 double crochets. 4, 5, 6 and 7. Then I am going to do a chain 1 and a double crochet on the last stitch. So find your last stitch there, pick it up, and you do your double crochet, and of course you're ready to start changing the color. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 shells. You should have 20. Now if you notice that your work goes out a little bit, don't panic just yet, because we need the height of these shells just to give us a little bit more height, and then the sides will go in a bit. If your work here goes in, again, don't panic just yet, do a few more rows, and if it still goes in, try a bigger hook. Just go over to a bigger hook and start using that one. Okay, so let's cut this one off. So now we are ready for row 33 in teal, and it is Luxor 3 that we are doing. So let's get started by pulling through our new color, chain 1 and turn. And now we are going to do a double crochet, a chain 2 and a double crochet into that first stitch. So first of all, a double crochet, a chain 2, 1, 2, and a double crochet into that same stitch. There we go. So this is what we've got at the moment. Now we start with our repeat. So chain 1, we skip the first 2 stitches of our shell, and we are going to put a double crochet on the 3 next stitches, so the 3 middle stitches of the shell. That's where we're going to be putting a double crochet. So 1, 2 and 3. Then we are going to do a chain 1, and we are going to be placing a V with the 3 chains this time onto this double crochet here. So we skip the stitches until we get to the double crochet, where we will be creating a V made out of a double crochet, 3 chains and a double crochet. There we go. Then we are going to be repeating this. So chain 1, skipping these 2, working in the next 3 for a double crochet each. Chain 1 and the V-stitch on top of the double crochet. I mean, soon enough you will just remember the locations, and you won't be needing to, count your skipped stitches. Once you realize that actually it's quite simple, the locations. So for instance, these 3 go on the middle ones of the shell, then the next V that I make here goes on top of that double crochet. Okay. and of course you do your chain 1 in between. So this is how you will continue with this row. So I've made it nearly to the end of my row. I've done my last repeat here of my V. Then to finish, we are going to chain 1, place the 3 double crochets on top of the middle 3 stitches of the shell. So then after we have done these last 3 double crochets, you're going to chain 1, and then you find the last stitch of your row there, and we are going to be placing a double crochet, 2 chains and a double crochet in there. Voila. And of course, yeah, make sure you're ready to change your colors. So we have started with one of those half V's, that's what I call it, and we finished with a half V. So in this row you are counting 20 groups of 3 double crochets. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. You should have 20. So now for row 34 we will be using the natural color. So cut off the previous color, let's pull through the natural, and we are going to be doing Luxor row 4. So it starts with chaining 1, of course, turning, and a double crochet in the first stitch. There we go. Then we are going to do 3 double crochets into this chain space here. 1, 2, and 3. There we go. And now we are going to start the repeat. So chain 1, 1 double crochet on top of the middle of the 3 double crochets here. Then chain 1 and 7 double crochets into the V. 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Then we do a chain 1, 1 double crochet on top of the double crochet in the middle here. Chain 1 and another 7 double crochets. So as you can see, it's the same row as before when we did the shells, but this one is offset. So we started with half a shell and we will finish with half a shell, while before we started with a whole shell. So as you can see, look, so here we have half a shell, here we had straight away a whole shell. So we will finish as well with half a shell. So I will meet you now at the end of the row. At the end of the row, I'm at the end of my repeat. So now we're going to add chain 1, 1 double crochet on top of the middle double crochet of the row below there, and then we are going to do a chain 1, and then here we are working in the chain space for 3 double crochets. And then we do a double crochet on top of that last stitch there. So pick up the V there, and of course we're ready to change the colors. So now we have 19 shells and 2 half shells, or at least I have 6 shells and 2 half shells. Row 35 is done in cinnamon, and we are going to be doing Luxor 1. So let's get started by pulling through the yarn, Then we are going to chain 1 and turn, and we do a double crochet in the first 2 stitches. So into the first one, and then 1 on top of that first double crochet there that you have in the V. Then you do a chain 1, and now we start our repeat. Chain 1, and we are going to place a V on top of the double crochet in the row below. So this one here, we are doing the V again, and it's the same locations, we just start differently each row or every other row. So chain 1, we are skipping 2 stitches, and then we are placing 1 double crochet on top of those middle 3 stitches of the shell. And then we are going to do chain 1, skip to get you to the double crochet on its own, 1 double crochet, 3 chains, and 1 double crochet on top of the double crochet in between the shells. Then we do chain 1, and we are doing those 3 double crochets again, 1, 2, and the 3 middle stitches of the shell to be used for making our double crochets. Chain 1, V on top of the double crochet. Chain 1, and this is how you are going to continue all along your row. So here I've come to the end of my repeat, and I'm nearly at the end of the row. So I just need to add 1 chain, then another V stitch on top of that double crochet, so with the 3 chains. There we go. Then we do a chain 2, and then we are going to place 1 double crochet in the last 2 stitches. So look at the end of the row, this is your very last stitch, and this one here is the last stitch of those 3 in the V. So that's the ones that we are going to be using to create our double crochets in. And there we go. So ready for the color change, and we have finished Luxor 1. So make sure you go to the description box below this video to find the written pattern and the table of colors for this week, Luxor week 2. We are doing a repeat of 4 rows, and of course we will be starting with an X row, but then from there onwards we will be repeating row 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 until the end of the week, where we will be ending in Luxor 2. So I hope you will enjoy doing this week, and I will see you for week 3 next week.